So this workout may be a good wake-up call for you in terms of how to work on your finishing. To me, once you get to a certain point, finishing is one of the toughest skills to keep improving on. Because most times in training, we don't have defense, so by nature, layups are pretty easy. And I see a lot of players who make damn near all their finishes in workouts, and they aren't getting much better because of this. This type of workout though, that ain't happening. This should be tough. And yes, we do get outside the box a bit to make that happen, but it's what we got to do to make big jumps in our finishing. And of course, players that I've worked with have seen results, but even personally, I've seen crazy results with my body control, ability to finish through contact, touch, anything you want to name, just through doing kind of outside the box finishing drills. Also, before you say anything, apologies to all my Icelandic and Spanish hoopers for the flags being down. We had a huge rain here in Miami, and some of that leaked into the flags. And yeah, we're still working on getting a ladder to put them up, but I still love y'all though. All right, let's get to it. So this is kind of a low intensity cuff finishing drill to get started, and this covers the first of many pillars that we'll touch on, ball manipulation. So clearly this is tough in itself to kind of get your hand over it and then back under to finish, especially as you're moving in kind of a Euro step pattern. You got to control the momentum of the ball, which is tough, and then find the right hand positioning to get that up onto the rim. But the best finishers at high levels are really able to manipulate the ball, not only before the finish, but getting into it to avoid defenders, find some momentum on it, and find the hand positioning and angle that works best for them to get that finish off. So really challenge yourself here with the speed and how far you're getting that ball over. Second one here covers a pillar called footwork coordination, especially going to your weak hand like I'm going here with my left and like Manny is as well. This is tough for a lot of hoopers to find that fluid footwork to really extend out, especially with that right-left footwork. Also really challenging how far we extend so we can find an angle on the opposite side of the rim. Then going to the right's a little bit easier, but again, I'm trying to challenge how far I can jump from, create some momentum with this little cradle, and then finish. This is a really good warm-up to get you jumping fluidly, create some coordination into that finish. Next one is a one-step inside hand finish, and you're going to be going off the same foot with this one as well. So we're finishing with our right hand. That means I'm jumping off my right foot. Now, how I want you to challenge yourself here is instead of going with a standard inside hand finish where you're right next to the rim, you're going to be kind of fading away and kind of tossing it backwards towards that rim. So you're going to have to play around with different ways to cradle that ball, manipulate it, especially because you're kind of, again, throwing that ball behind you. This is working on the pillar that I would consider touch. Pretty simple. Just working on different ways to put the ball in the perfect place on the backboard or on the rim to get the ball to go in, even in tough situations. This next one here also falls under that touch category. We're trying to get this ball high up on the backboard, get it to kind of fall in from the top of the backboard, and do it with an underhand flick. Now, this is a lot tougher than it looks. It took us probably 5 minutes to even get a few makes here, but I do think playing around with different motions of the wrist to get the ball up on the rim is pretty valuable. Even if we don't necessarily do this much in a game, which we definitely could, it just diversifies the amount of releases that you're comfortable with. Next one here is a really interesting one. We're jumping up either off one or two and then in midair, working on touching either one or both knees. This does a couple things. Number one, it's working on kind of the rotational or body control pillar. So being able to rotate in midair, stay controlled, and then finish. Number two, it's working on being able to cradle the ball into the finish. And then probably most relevant here, we're cueing ourselves to lift our knees up in the air, which is one thing we identified with Manny especially. It just doesn't do much. It probably needs to work on a bit to be a little bit more compact, a little bit more stable in the air, a little bit more comfortable, and then being able to finish from there. So I like this drill for anyone, but especially people who are working on being a bit more acrobatic. This next one here definitely feels crazy. We're pushing across, bringing that opposite foot over, and then from there just taking one step as we spin back to the rim and put it up with the inside hand. So notice how we have to find different spins. Notice how we have to, again, control the ball as we're spinning around with a high speed. And if you really want to challenge yourself, try to get to the other side of the rim. If you can control the ball, control your body as you're spinning at these high speeds, it's a pretty good sign to be a good finisher. This next one here is no jump finishing, which looks crazy, but I promise you guys this is tough and it's one of the best touch drills that you can do to improve your ability to have that soft touch at a high speed. So you're just trying to keep that same stride through your finish. You're not really jumping. You're just kind of looking up at the rim, quickly flicking, and keeping momentum forward. You can go to the other side, you can go to the front of the rim, but being able to do this and have the control with your touch to not decelerate is going to help you a lot in terms of your high-speed touch. Next one here is a variable mikan. I've definitely hated on the mikan drill here and there for more advanced players because I think it's just too easy. but I still use it, I just adjust it a little bit. So for example, right here, we got 2 rules. The finish has to be different every time, and it's got to be either a wide extension, so we're finishing pretty much going outside of the paint, or with the inside hand. And even that should probably be a bit of an extension. So the finishes are more difficult. We're doing different finishes each time, so it's hard to get in that rhythm and just go on autopilot. And we're really pushing ourselves on every single finish to see how difficult we can make it on ourselves while also getting a high amount of reps around the rim. So I think this is a really good tool to use. And then of course, we're finishing, again, a little bit crazy. On this one, we're starting with our eyes closed and actually opening them as late as we possibly can. So preferably after you jump. So you're dribbling around. It's also probably a pretty decent ball handling drill. Driving to the rim at different angles with different moves. And then last second, as we open our eyes, kind of feeling out where we are around the rim and having to adapt from there. If you want to make easy layups and practice more difficult, this is the way. We were smoking layups like crazy. And if you didn't know that we had our eyes closed, we would look pretty freaking bad. So this is a very difficult but fun way to work on your finishing. You can really get up to high speeds here and make sure that you're challenging yourself. And this is one that you typically end up going for more time just because you're enjoying it.
If you're watching this and you want to help a really good cause, we have a nonprofit called the Athlete Empowerment Initiative. We're looking to build basketball communities around the world. What we're doing right here is a big shoe drive for hoopers in South Sudan. We got about 400 shoes right now. Need continued help to get them over there and to continue to sustain these communities. So check the link in the description. We'd love to have you guys help out a little bit.
As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love y'all, appreciate the support. We got a bunch of cool things going on right now between the nonprofit, our new clothing brand, the book I just dropped, and of course, just more and more free content. If you want to check any of it out, make sure to check the link in the description. Follow me on Instagram, all that good stuff. If not, see you next time.